So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stefan Kurath. I'm one part of the office of Iseppi Kurath, which actually is a joint venture of two offices, which is mine, which is situated in Zurich, which is Urban Plus, and his office, and by Ivano Iseppi. We love to work together, but we love as well to not work together. That's why this special situation. So, the first question was, which building do you think is relevant for Swiss? I could read it. Architecture's production in Switzerland. It's kind of difficult to. It's totally not relevant for Swiss architecture. What we did here, it's relevant for us, and that's. We wanted to participate in this exhibition, so we just brought this latest building, and it's actually exactly that what we were writing about in a debate in Werk bauen und wohnen a few 2 or 3 years ago, where the title of the debate was "Architecture Does Not Exist." And I think this is the best example of that what we wrote in it. Most of architects only read the title, and of course they were not very happy, and they kind of interpreted that we are against architecture. Now I can say that this is not true. What we mean by architecture does not exist is that we understand architecture as a culture. So it's not so much about the idea of the architect, it's as well about the mangle of interests which come together in architecture, and which we as architects have to bring this in kind of form. So this is kind of the mangle of practice, the mangle of interests make buildings looking like they look. It's not only the architect's interest, it's as well other interests, and that's why we do think that architecture is a process and it's an ongoing process. Even this picture shows how architecture can be part of a culture, because this is a picture of Laura Egger, and she showed us a kind of a specific view on the building we never expected. So for us, seeing at the pictures of Laura Egger was a contribution to the culture of architecture, and brought us a total different view to our own work. That shows basically how architecture is understood as culture. As well, Andrea Caminada, not the architect John Caminada, Andrea Caminada, the cook, the famous cook, made a dish called Via Mala. Of course, it's not only because of the building, it's more because of the Via Mala, but we say it's because of the building, of course. And because he loves the place, we made a specific spot in the terrace where I know that he sits and drinks espresso and has a view into the gorge. And I think the best thing in architecture always are the views and out of the building, or not specifically the building itself. And for example, as well, part of this culture, which is kind of the past of our work, Brülmal Lötscher, an office which exhibited here as well, chose this as kind of the reference. I first thought when I opened the book that's a mistake. So the SIM was not able to kind of make it proper, this book, because my project was in the side of another office, and I was I already wanted to write an email that this cannot happen, and I never thought of that anyone would be interested in what we did, and that was very happy. I sent them a handwritten letter, and this is kind of the culture we really appreciate in architecture. It's not only about idea, it's not only about proportion, it's about culture, it's about work, and it's about working together on the world. For this example, we as well chose kind of a reference, the very interesting work of a very charmant person, Philippe Chereau. I don't know whether I chose the picture because I really love him or I really love the picture. Maybe it's the same, but that's what he criticizes in with his pictures is not in kind of souvenir in architecture, kinds of commemorating thing. It's about reality of construction things. It's not about recipes of how to do architecture. It's more pictures that questions thing. And I'm very happy always when people question things and not try to explain what they did. So everything is open as well. The vernacular building, of course, my wife grew up here, not exactly here in, because it's burned down, but a few a part of the church still is there. It was our wedding church. But it's not about the proportion of this building. It's not about the architecture of this building. It's really what interests us is the culture. I mean, what is interesting here is the possibilities the peoples in this time had to build something. I absolutely don't care in wood. I absolutely don't care in proportion. I just care in what they were able to do in their specific time with specific handcraft. And I think this is directly has to be translated into the time of nowadays. We heard that vernacular architecture, or we discussed before that vernacular architecture does not give any, I will finish with one sentence. It does not give any answers to nowadays problems. I totally disagree. I do think that exactly this kind of coming back to the culture, and not only of the architecture's idea, will help to work together with other specific disciplines to solve nowadays problems. That is what John Gaminator, for example, does in Frin. That's what we do in our office, and I think this will solve the future problems as well in city, and that's what we are interested in and work on. Some things we have. Autonomy of architecture, I can an answer to this question. It's a hoax, it's a lie. There is no autonomy of architecture. It's total bullshit. Even we are in need of political architects. That's what I mean, that we have to be, and we have to work, and we have to fight for our disciplinary interests. And as we see architecture as an experiment of bringing things together, always the architecture as well is a kind of resistance at once, and this is the definition of culture. Thank you.